All
All right.
right, we have the Kineon community. Hey, Forrest,
Kicking it
how
off
you doing?
today, guys. Great, great. Super pumped to talk to everybody today. Hear some good questions, give some awesome answers. We are pulling out of the tunnel and into the light with deliveries. We've got awesome things happening with the brand. Just amazing space to be in. We've been kind of chugging through a bunch of issues. We're finally getting into the light now, so it's going to be awesome to hear the questions and feedback from people. So let's kick this thing off.
Yeah, absolutely agree there, mate. And just to give a bit of framework for those people that are watching in our Facebook group, potentially on Instagram Live, big shout out to all of you. We're going to be asking, we want you to hear your questions. So please make comments and questions in the comments below. And Tor, who's working behind the scenes, she's going to feed those back into us. And also a big shout out, Forrest. We haven't done this before, actually, but a big shout out to everybody who's watching this on the replay on YouTube. So thank you all for
Yes, all
joining.
right.
Yeah, for the YouTube community and for everybody in here in the Facebook group and Instagram Live. If anyone's not yet a subscriber to our YouTube, please hop over there, get into that. Tor's going to share the link to our YouTube channel directly in there, and please subscribe. It really helps us get this content going and develop some interest in and around our content. So a quick update on the structure today. We're going to first of all talk about our new exciting news about our company name, which Forrest is going to introduce. We're going to move on into talking about shipping and product updates. Again, amazing, exciting news on that. And then we're going to focus largely on some questions and answers and hopefully a little bit of a demo from us talking about how to use the product, where to use it. I know a lot of you have received the product. Anything you want to add on to that, Forrest, that you're thinking?
Just one thing to start it off. I think it's always good to note, and we've done this with our kind of monthly all hands meeting for all of our team around the world, and I'd like to start doing it with our community as well, to just remind you that essentially our mission here is to, as substantially as we can, increase the quality of life for the largest number of people we can. So essentially, we're here to help you get out of pain and inflammation. And so if you have questions, if you have issues with the product, convenience of use, anything that you can give us as feedback, we're super happy to take both critical feedback and positive feedback, because the positive feedback also helps us spread the word to other people who are taking NSAIDs or opiates and have longer term health problems because of those, and get them out of those type of treatments, who are using cryotherapy or ice to try to reduce inflammation, which is, we know, and we'll give you some links on additional research on that, is not a good way to do it. We just have we have something great here. We've really put time and heart and effort, and a lot of talented people doing great things from a design and testing standpoint into a product that we'd like to be able to get out to people and meet our mission of helping people improve their quality of life as meaningfully as we can. So I'd like to start off all of our calls with that, just to remind you who we are and what we're about. But yeah, we've got some great new things that align with that today from a brand standpoint. We have had a cease and desist letter issued against us for using Revive or Revive, how you like to pronounce it, from a company that's using a different spelling of theirs and makes different products. And we believe that we are in the right of this. We're leaving our application in for being able to push through our own trademark of Revive, but to reduce risk. In the meantime, what we've done is shifted our brand to something that's in line with what our core values are, from reducing pain and inflammation and getting people back into movement, which is Kineon, which is based on the Greek word kineo, which means movement or moving, and that's something that we're really trying to get people back into. One of the things that we've seen with a lot of our beta users is that they get in this pain spiral, and motion is lotion. Movement is going to help you, but if you can't move without triggering inflammation, and you don't have a way to deal with that inflammation, you're not going to go move. And so this is one of the things where we can see these life-changing benefits when it comes to people who have been able to start walking further, start moving more, getting back into their movement sooner, because they've reduced the inflammation and pain associated with that action. And so this is one of the things where, instead of being in a pain spiral, you're kind of building step by step into something. Change your life 1% at a time every day. Just take a step forward. Take a one positive step forward is a great way to approach this in building stronger joints and better movement patterns. And that really aligns again with our new brand, Kineon, which is essentially based around movement. You'll see us rolling this out. Yes, there we go. All right. You'll see us rolling this brand out over the next couple of months on products, on our website, on our different Facebook groups and ads and things like this. Everywhere we have a public-facing image, we're going to start seeing the Kineon brand, and we hope that you guys can join in us and find some better movement by using these. So that's it's an exciting thing for us. It's taken a lot of work for us to be able to do that, to roll that out. But we feel like it's the correct way to reduce risk for the company and make sure that we have something that's still aligned with our core values of getting people back into healthy movement.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Forrest, one of the beautiful things about this name change is that whilst Revive was, how it's all started, Kineon really does exemplify our core mission statement of getting people back to that movement. And at the core of it, movement, as you said, motion is lotion, being able to move pain-free, being able to do things that you love, whether that's, taking your dog for a walk or playing with the kids on the beach or just getting up and down the stairs on an evening, whatever it is, or lifting houses above your head, whatever it is, you want to do that pain-free. And it's great to have that name change finally operational and out there for everybody to see it.
Absolutely. I think we found that with our different communities, we've got kind of we're starting to see people gel into three distinct communities, which is essentially really, really high-end kind of professional athletes, younger people who are competitive in athletics, who want to recover faster or have an acute injury, and those folks who are lifting the house over their head, squatting 400 pounds and these type of things. Then kind of that middle group of where I think Tom and I fall into, which is weekend warriors. We've been athletes all our lives. That kind of adds up with all of the over time, the injuries that you've had start showing up in this chronic pain and being able to treat those. And then our older cohort of supporters has been osteoarthritis based, which is essentially a group of people who are above 55 years old and starting to see that osteoarthritis impacting their daily movement, how far they can walk, their quality of life, and want to get ahead of that and start treating it in a proactive and positive way. So I think all of these groups are seeing, movement pattern changes and what they can do, be affected by the treatment and therapy. And it's exciting to see. It's exciting to start having these thousands of products finally hit people's hands that we've been working on so hard. And I think that kind of brings us into our next point of the discussion was we are
just
now.
Just before we jump into that, sure. There's just a quick shout out. There's Jones Chisel watching. So hey Jones, Sammy Al Saeed, and Brenda Fraser as well. Thank you guys for just A, watching, B, messaging in there. And as you go through this call, if there's anything you specifically want to ask, make it in the comments below, write down. Tours behind the scenes. She'll make sure myself and Forrest can see the questions. And so far, we've just covered the first point, which is our company name change from Revive. We're now called Kineon.io. And that moves us on to our shipping updates, which is really exciting.
And our whole team is super excited about this. Product team, marketing team, logistics, everyone who's been involved in getting these products out. We faced a lot of challenges. We had some of our parts that we were using for earlier versions of the device go unavailable because of the Ukraine war. We've had our factory and assembly team who have been working so hard on this shut down for weeks at a time. We've had delay after delay that's been outside of our control. So finally, to get through to where the point where I think Tom, we've shipped between 95 and 98% of our current supporters. If you're watching this, you're going to have the device soon. This is so exciting for us. Our teams have been working hard, underfunded, and really pulling long hours to make this happen for months on end. Whether it's regulatory teams, production teams, industrial design, there's so much that's come together for us to be able to bring this to market. And being able to ship these after having faced all of these difficulties and hurdles in this process is just super gratifying. And so, we want your feedback. We want you to know that we've been working hard on this, but we're also open to critical feedback. If you have any issues with it, please reach out to us. But if you're having a positive experience, that's really what we're here for. Is we're here to help you have a positive experience and increase your quality of life by being able to treat the pain and inflammation. And if you're able to do that, if you can reach out to us with your story, with a video, text, images, something about how this has impacted your life. This is really what our team is here for in the first place, and we truly appreciate those stories and your testimonials on how this has changed your life once you receive the device.
Yeah, and a couple more people joining in there. Hey, Alex Mixter, great to have you on here. And another Facebook user's come in. We'll be able to notify who that is in a second. But yeah, that's absolutely right, Forrest. And I think we've now shipped over 2,000. We've shipped around 2,627 products to people all around the world. And I know there's people in the community. Some have received it a couple of weeks ago. Some are still waiting for their tracking number, which will come out to them today, tomorrow. But that means that the majority of people have now got their product. From a crowdfunding point of view, this is a really important milestone for us. Vincenzo, nice to have you. Vincenzo, hey, nice to have you on here as well. And that's a really important milestone for the whole campaign. And I know people have been very patient, lots of messages of support to our team. And we've always maintained that we'd rather be a little bit late, but with a high quality product than shipping it early and delivering something that's subpar. And with the challenges of COVID, the war, everything like that, it's great to have something that is good quality and, by all accounts, really does look absolutely beautiful. So, yeah, great all round.
That's awesome. And I love that that you've got it up there on the screen, because that also kind of brings us into kind of our next point of this, which is, let's just run through a quick demo on what you'll be, if you haven't received it yet, what you will be receiving. If you have received it, what you've received and how you might want to use it. Because we've got a few tips and tricks that will help you get better results, and understanding the underlying physiological mechanisms of what this actually treats in your body can help you build your own protocol or adjust your protocol that we provide you in a way that's going to make it personalized and more effective for you.
All right, and Celine Tan, she says, "Thank you. I received the tracking notification today." Woo!
All right,
Great news,
jazz
Celine.
hands.
So jazz hands. So we should. She should get the. She should have that device within probably next week, I believe. I think that's literally how quick they're coming out to people all around the world. So we look forward to that photo of you holding it, Celine, like this. Right, Forrest loves these. We want some crazy photos from people. Right? I think maybe we need a competition, Forrest, that runs every month. The people to have the most crazy pictures in their gyms, mountains, in rivers. I don't know where.
Yeah, we had a teammate of ours, Bex, who's been up in Scotland doing some camper vanning, and she sent some great pictures of these really beautiful, idyllic areas in Scotland with her and the device, and where she's been hiking and been able to actually treat some of the people who were hiking with her, who had kind of generated some pain and inflammation in their joints from hiking thousands of feet up in the mountains, and she was able to treat them because she had it in her travel case on the road out in the mountains of Scotland. So yeah, tell us how you're using it. The focus for us was, again, to be able to make it travel friendly and usable anywhere in the world, so you can build good habits around this. Two things that would be amazing for that is, tell us where you're using it anywhere in the world. Send us a picture from where you are on the plane. And or tell us what's changed. How we had one of our co-founders is in his early 70s, had a decreasing kind of steps per year pattern that he had noticed based on old injuries from rugby and kind of an incipient osteoarthritis, and was able to increase those from 2,000 steps a day to above 10,000 for different exhibitions that he could go see now. So what are the changes that you've made? Where in the world are you using this? And if there's people that you're able to use it on as well, let's kind of get their initial feedback about it, because one of the things we've noticed is it's very difficult for people to get their head around kind of the idea of light going in and meaningfully impacting pain and inflammation from a 10 to 15 minute treatment. And there's usually kind of a shock as to especially if they're in the range on the visual assessment score of 0 to 10 of roughly 7 or above. The impact in most of their that we've noticed from kind of our anecdotal stories for this, the impact for people is very visceral and is noticeable immediately. So it'd be great to get any kind of stories you have, any initial feedback. Are you able to put this on friends and family and notice some difference in what they're doing as well? All of these stories are really helpful for us, because it's again what's fueled our entire team and our focus and our mission for this couple of years that has taken us to develop this world-class product.
Yeah, amen to that, Forrest. And a couple more people here is Nancy Waldner. She's finally found us while we're live. So, Nancy, welcome to the Facebook Live, Instagram Live, wherever you're watching it. And again, anybody that's watching the replay on YouTube or anywhere else this video comes to, we really welcome you to this, and we invite you to every single live that we're going to do. And to please drop your questions below. If you're on the replay, we'll still answer the questions. So drop it in YouTube or wherever it is. One of our support team will pick it up and get you some responses back again. But to your final point there, Forrest, and Jones Chisleck's just messaged in about this, saying that they got the notification yesterday about the devices on the way, and they've been suffering from osteoarthritis and constricted in the daily movement. And when I read that, what I thought about was Elise. And Elise is an amazing team member of ours. She's been with us for the best part of 3/4 of a year now, like 9-10 months. And she is one of our copywriting team, part of the marketing team, and a beautiful soul, amazing ideas. Both her and her father have suffered for many years with osteoarthritis. So when we got one off the production line into the UK, one of the sort of the prototypes, initial ones, we got one down to her, and both her and her father have really been enjoying using it. And I think there's a bit of pulling and tug of war between who uses it on a night between them. But we to Forrest's point there, Jones, we would love to hear when you get your device, please share a photo, please share your story if you feel comfortable with that, but then also share how this is working for you. And if you need some help on how to use it, the best processes to use it and things like that, just drop us a message and we'll do what we can do to support you on that. We want you pain free, or at least as pain reduced as possible in your recovery process.
Absolutely, great comments there, Tom. I think that's kind of a high level. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say good segue into let's do some demos. Let's.
Yes.
I know Tor's got some questions that we can answer as well, but let's maybe do a little demo of using it on the knee, Forrest, if you're happy.
Perfect.
To do that.
Yes, I'd love to.
You being the coach, I'll be the guinea.
Let's run through the demo, and I'll kind of talk you guys through some of the protocols that we've found that have been helpful, and some of the reasons for those from a kind of scientific standpoint, and then also just from an experience standpoint that we've seen with our early beta users, but also kind of the medical literature behind why those are effective and why we're advising these usage patterns and protocols.
So, Tor, if you could add hopefully this is going to work. The first time we've tried it, but it should be pretty cool. Tor, if you can add yeah, there we go. All right. So, hopefully you can see this bit of leg here.
So as Tom's pointing this on, I'm kind of talk you guys through a little bit of how he's setting it up and why, and how that works from a product standpoint. So essentially with the product, there are 3 modules, and there are 2 that will be vertical, and 1 that will be horizontal. The horizontal one you'd like to position on the back of your leg and snap the if you're treating your knee, and we'll talk about a couple other joints and how that would be adapted. But what we're trying to do with these is clip them into the clips on the strap, and we'd like to position the horizontal module at the back of the knee. What we're essentially trying to do here is have the knee at 90-degree angle, and we're trying to put as much of this laser light on the synovial fluid. The synovial fluid is kind of like the oil or the WD-40 for your knee. So it's inside of it surrounds your knee joints from a cartilage standpoint. And one of the things that you see with osteoarthritis is that synovial fluid has higher levels of inflammatory markers, and it's one of the key ways for us to be able to reduce the inflammation and help provide a path forward for being able to regenerate that cartilage in a more meaningful way. And we get a question about this, and I'm going to take a small aside as we're going through it. Well, let me finish positioning. So 2 of these go on the back of one of these goes on the back of your knee, the horizontal one, and then 2 of them go exactly on your knee line. So where you have kind of a 90-degree angle, there's a line on your knee, and you'd like these to be pointing directly into this, because basically what we're doing is when you have that 90-degree angle on your knee open, your knee is open so that we can actually access and directly put these on the laser lights onto your synovial fluid. And one of the questions we get quite a lot with this is, can I actually regrow cartilage? So cartilage grows a lot slower than a lot of body tissue, but it does have a growth rate. What you see with people with arthritis, and other either traumatic or kind of chronic issues in the knee is that balance where growth and degradation, the degradation has increased because there's more inflammatory markers that cause degradation in the synovial fluid, and the growth has slowed down because you're starting to see that inflammation impact the growth from the chondrocytes. And so we're not going to go too deep on the kind of physiology and science and medical side of this today. When you can rebalance it by decreasing the inflammation in that synovial fluid, you increase the level of growth and decrease the level of degradation, and it balances back out to where you actually can regrow cartilage in your legs, in your joints. And we get that question quite a lot because, again, there's less blood flow in cartilage, and it's not a very fast growth tissue, but it does grow. And if you guys are interested, we could actually post some additional videos on how cartilage grows in your knees, chondroblasts, and then generating chondrocytes, and then those kind of building out that extracellular matrix of fiber tissue that actually becomes the cartilage. But for today, we'll just suffice it to say that if you position this correctly over the synovial fluid, we're going to see a reduction, and not a small reduction, a really substantial 60 to 80% reduction, depending on which study we're going to reference for it, in those inflammatory cytokines, inflammatory markers in the synovial fluid. And that's going to have both if that inflammation is the cause of your pain, that's going to have an immediate impact on your pain. If that inflammation is not a cause of your pain, what you're going to see is over time, the degradation will slow and the regrowth will boost, and you'll see your knees just feel easier. And so this is why we see some people saying like, "Hey, immediately my pain is down." That's probably because in a lot of cases your pain is caused by this inflammation, and the inflammation is impacted very quickly. One of the other things that we'd suggest if you have chronic or very high levels of acute pain in your knee is after treating this area for 10 to 15 minutes, which is 3 cycles. We have 5-minute cycles on the devices now. We'd like to advise that essentially with most chronic pain in joints like the knee, and especially with traumatic tissue damage you see with things like meniscus tear, ACL, MCL tears, things like this, you're not just going to see a reduction in effectiveness of blood flow in the traumatically damaged tissue. You're also going to see that in regional tissue. And so one of the things we found very effective for this is being able to treat upstream, where your quad and your hamstring tissue is actually being impacted negatively from a microvasculature standpoint. How much blood is being delivered into your quads and into your hamstrings is reduced because of the tissue damage in the knees. So we would advise to slide that up also after your 10 to 15 minutes of treatment on the knee, and then treat for another 10 to 15 minutes in the broader tissue of your quads and your hamstrings. And you can just slide it up just like Tom's doing on his leg right now. You may have to actually extend out as you slide up your quads, depending on the size of your leg. You may have to extend that out from a strap standpoint, but those straps are adjustable, and you should be able to slide that up with some adjustments and then seat it on the lower part of your quad and then the upper part of your quad. And so we'd say two and maximum 3 treatments on the quad after 2 to 3 treatments on the knee is a good addition to a protocol if you have knee pain or osteoarthritis in the knee.
Just a couple of things, Forrest, in terms of the setup. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But, maybe just let's run through actually turning it on, the process that happens, and then how long does it last for, and then let's reiterate again, what do someone arrives, what do they want to do? First thing they want to do, get it charged, but then probably 1 or 2 cycles, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes of cycles, maybe 3 times 15 minutes, once a day.
Absolutely. So depending, we've made 5-minute cycles for this, just to kind of so to turn it on, as Tom's indicating, you can press press and hold the on button for about 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds on any of the devices, on any of the modules, and they'll all turn on simultaneously. They are linked, and so you just press that button for 1 to 2 seconds. You do have to hold it down. It's not just a tap to keep them from being inadvertently turned on. And once you have it turned on, as long as it's in that position, you can leave it for the cycle. The automatic cycle that is on the device is 5 minutes. And the reason that it's 5 minutes is that what we found is that if we made these cycles 15 minutes, the number of people with our beta users, the number of people that dropped off and would go from using it for 4 to 5 times a day, 4 to 5 times a week to once or twice a week was too high. So what we've tried to do is make this something where it's much better for you to do daily for 5 minutes than it is for once a week or maybe twice a week for 15 minutes. So make a habit. And what we suggest for users to be able to build those habits effectively is do habit stacking. If you have something that you do every day, add this in. This is one of the reasons why we've made it convenient and hands-free to use. If you have coffee in the morning, if you do your meditation, if there's any time where you're set at your desk, at work, that you can take this and put it on, that you're going to be doing that every day at a similar time, stack those habits. When you have a habit that you already have, everyday usage for, take this and stack it on the top of it, and you'll find that it will be a part of your routine very quickly. If you try to add additional habits in, it's harder. It takes a little bit more mental focus to make that happen. You can still do it, but one way to make that much easier is every time I have my coffee, I have my knee treatment. And this is what I do for myself in the morning as well. I treat for 10 minutes daily with my I had an old meniscus injury that otherwise, if we hadn't found a way to treat and then rehab, would have had to be surgery. It's now 99%. It'll trigger inflammation every now and then from intense movements like box jumps or heavy deep squats or something like this. But for most of my life, it's great because I come in and do this 10 minutes a day with my coffee in the morning, coffee and breathing. So that's something else where we'd love to hear your story of where you can stack it with your habits and maybe give a good opportunity for your friends or family or someone else in the world to build habits in an effective way based on what you've done.
And I think, Forrest, also to that, people can, it's like you say, use it every day. If you've got something a bit more painful or you hurt your knee, but then something else happens, your ankle or anywhere else, you can always use it in different body parts. But with what we found is that using it on your knee directly in the area prescribed and then going upstream is great. But also this top of your shin seems to also be quite a good area as well, doesn't it? From the research and things.
Right.
And again, to what Forrest was saying earlier is, these straps, they're super easy to just make them a bit slacker, make them a bit tighter. And we are developing new straps. We've always got new ideas coming up. The development team are doing some great stuff. But yeah, feel free to use them anywhere on your body where you have that pain.
That's right. For example, I've also tweaked my back recently, lifting heavy. And I couldn't walk for a couple of days. And between the rehab and recovery movements and using this, I've gotten back into kind of full training in about 2 weeks, which is much faster than it used to happen when I would, tweak muscles in the back. The back is just kind of in the middle of all movements, so you have to have it fairly healthy to be able to do any kind of heavy lifting or training. So it's really awesome for me from a recovery standpoint to be able to get back into that. We do have some questions coming through as well.
Yeah. So are we? Quick question from Chuck Saiter: are we able to adjust or reset the default 5-minute treatment time?
Right now, no, but we are working to be able to do that. This is one of the pieces from our early feedback from our community that we're trying to take on board and improve. And what we'll do with this is so two of the things that we had feedback from a product standpoint that will impact our future code for these is one, can we keep it? This is great that it doesn't require an app. Can we keep it that way? And two, can we make it changeable for or adjustable from a time standpoint? So what we're looking to do, and we should be shipping before the end of this year, is updates from a software standpoint where we can hold down the button for maybe 5 seconds and then adjust the timing on the actual device, and then hold on the button for another 5 seconds to set that. And the device would then flash a number of times indicating how many minutes it will be set for. So that's something that we're working on internally. If please let me know if that's in line with what you guys would like to see from an expectation standpoint. One of the things we're working on for next year is an app that will allow a little bit more granularity for that. Being able to do OTA over-the-air updates from a software standpoint would be great, which we can support from the app once we have it. But our core focus was to be able to launch this as simple and easy and convenient as possible and not require the app, and then use the app next year to be able to offer additional granularity of that. So hopefully that answers your question. And again, if you guys feel strongly about the app or no app or non-required app, but possible with some extended features or what those features might be, feel free to let us know, because we're very open to community. Guys, again, we're here, and I gave you, Tom's going to have a laugh. I do talk about this mission statement quite a lot, but we're here to improve quality of life for people. So if there's any way that you feel like we could do that better, please reach out and get in touch with us.
Yeah, and Chuck's just saying there, thank you, Forrest. That's really exciting to hear about the software updates ongoing and see that. Just a quick shout out to Martin Nolte. His tracking info has just arrived. Woohoo! And he's looking forward to hopefully a ski season without pain. Martin, we were saying earlier, I don't know if you caught it on this live, but anyone that's new to it, please send us pictures of the most weird and wonderful places around the world that you take this box to take our modules to, your modules to. And we've had them on mountains in Scotland. We've had none in the snow yet. So there's a challenge for anyone that's near snow. And we've had none on an aeroplane yet. So a couple of photos from anywhere random would be excellent. So Martin, you could be in line for the ski one. Okay, so Jones Chisel, is asking, is weight a factor on the productivity of these devices?
The answer is...
Jones, maybe you could specify, is that around for knee pain specifically? And is that an injury plus weight, or is that just weight in general? Maybe you could just make some notes while Forrest is talking through that a little bit. That would be great.
Sure. Essentially, if it's going to impact the kind of delivery of light, so if it's I think our range of sizes that we kind of planned from a limb standpoint was something like 30 to 45 centimeters, so a foot to a foot and a half from a circumference standpoint. If it's going to impact the amount of light getting into those synovial fluid, for example, on the knee, or into your joint capsule on the shoulder, or whatever it is, then what you can do is increase the dosage. And so, for example, and we can actually do some math on this from we have a kind of proprietary model that we've built from a mathematical standpoint for how many photons, how much light is delivered at different layers of tissue depth, and we can probably give you a more concise, direct answer on that in the next couple of weeks as we flesh that model out and can kind of just put personalized data back into it. But I would say if from a if you're not seeing from a 5 to 10 minute treatment with people with larger legs or with larger joints, then increase that to 15 to 20 minutes, and that would increase the dosage into a range that's going to provide kind of that optimal outcome for you. So yes, it will. If it's going to impact the amount of light that's delivered at the tissue depth, then yes, it will. But each of those is going to be on a case-by-case basis, and we're happy to follow up to you offline on kind of doing some math with you and seeing what's how that's going to impact a dosage standpoint from a time.
Okay, great. Thank you, Forrest. And a couple more people joined in. Kenneth Weibel, just received my device, charged it up last night. Looking forward to trying, hoping it will improve my moving around the tennis court. So, Kenneth, we haven't got any photos of it on a tennis court yet, so we look forward to seeing those coming in. Please share it, and please share how you get on with the pain. And another one, Julianne Tutti, just got my tracking number a few hours ago, have dozens of personal clients to experiment with this device, have great success with other infrared devices, and I'm thrilled to put this one to the test. But Julianne, we are really excited to have your feedback on that. Please do share it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We take it all positively. We take it all as an opportunity to become better, to provide improved quality of products, a better level of service. Everything we do, we want to take seriously. So please do let us know. And another question in from Jess Peebles. If one has PRP injection What is the recommendation for the number of 5-minute cycles per session? And Jess, I presume you're talking about the knee specifically, or which body part? If you could emphasize that, and Forrest can have a little bit of a ramble as you're answering that question.
Yeah, so this is something, two things that we've seen really good results for. So we were working with a professional CrossFit athlete out of Atlanta, who, like, the amount of strain and stress that these guys put on their knees is just incredible. I mean, they're, like Tom was talking about, people lifting houses, almost literally able to lift a house, from a squat position type thing. But has had some knee degradation, had PRP injections, and used the device for 15 minutes a day per knee with that, and has had amazing results. And the scientific literature actually supports that. Although I will say, one other thing that's actually even more impactful, that we've seen from the scientific literature and also from people using it, is stem cell injections. Um, Mesenchymal stem cells essentially are types of stem cells that your body generates that can become any end use cell. Uh, when you're using light therapy, they actually use light therapy and they're increasing the use of it in the production of stem cells that are going to be injected, because it promotes the growth of these stem cells. And also, if you have it on your knee while you've had the stem cell injections, it promotes their turning into the types of cells, the chondroblasts and chondrocytes that you need to be able to increase the growth of cartilage in this area. And there's great, and it's not marginal. It's very substantial changes that you'll see with these. So PRP and stem cells are synergistic with the light therapy. 15 minutes a day is what I would start with if I was you, and see how you go with it. It may be something where you can dial it down. But again, if you have a habit stacking situation where you have something that takes you 15 minutes with your morning coffee or something like this, go ahead and do the full 15 minutes.
Excellent. Great response there. We're going to come on to Eliana's question. Just a quick reminder for anybody that's just joined into the live in the last sort of 10, 15 minutes, or if you're watching the replay on YouTube or anywhere else in the world, we started off this call by just talking about the brand change name. So we've changed from Revive. Our company is now called Kineon. And Forrest gave an explanation of where that comes from. That it comes from the Greek word kineo, meaning to move, and that very much aligns with our core mission, our core vision of getting people back to movement, pain-free movement, and living the best life, the best version of you that we can be. So that's a great update. And again, for anybody watching or new, the second big point was about shipping. We've now shipped 95 to 98% of the products around the world. And even on this call in the last 30 minutes, we've had at least 3 people message in and say, I've just received my tracking number. I'm looking forward to getting it. So we're really excited to have that with you. And please do share a photo. For us internally in the team, we love to see the community, but a photo of you holding your device wherever you are in the world. We're looking for weird and wonderful pictures. We're looking for just you sat in your living room with it. Whatever you can do, share it, and we'll get it to our team, and everyone gets excited for it. So, Eliana, can use it? Can I use it several times a day? Will there be other straps for different body parts?
So that's a great question. So to answer them a little bit separately, you can use it several times a day. That's not going to negatively impact anything. It depends on what you're going to be treating for. One of the things that we do see is with there are some time-based studies out there that indicate, for example, if you're trying to reduce post-training soreness, which they call delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS, that you'd like to use it ideally around 15 minutes after your training. So if you're training high volume lifting of some sort, and you're expecting a lot of muscle soreness out of this, and you'd like to decrease that, you'll see meaningful decreases in your muscle soreness and in muscular inflammation markers like creatine kinase as well. So you can actually get back to your training faster, even though you've gone through heavier intense training. If you are using it for chronic pain, it's going to be completely fine and still ideal usage to be able to use it to break up your uses over several times a day. And if you have traumatic damage to tissue, I need to check on this a little bit further. I think it's I believe there's some time-based studies in this, but I need to go back and dig into the literature a little bit. So chronic pain, osteoarthritis, yes, split it up. After, if you're looking for recovery from training, lower muscle soreness and getting back into training faster, try to do it within 15 minutes after your training, and we will get back with you guys offline about if you're doing this for a traumatic injury, ACL, MCL, shoulder issues, something like this, where you've done kind of a traumatic acute injury to the joint. We'll give you a little bit more timing feedback on that offline.
And I think for us, again, this is one of the great things that we've had a number of people reach out to us over the last 10 months who are supporters and backers of this project. And they've said that they've actually had experience prior to having red light therapy, but they're buying it because maybe they've got knee pain. But of course, then they're in the gym and they end up with elbow pain or shoulder pain. And the beauty is, if you go into a physio for your light therapy, you go 10 times, it's cost you $500 to $1,000. And you've only used it on that one body part, but now you can use this on all the body parts whenever you get injured, if you get injured, or your partner or whoever. So, and I know you've used it on your teeth. I used it on my ankle yesterday. I had this pain for 3 or 4 days in my ankle, and for whatever reason, I didn't use the device, and then I've used it, and the pain's gone, and I'm very grateful for it every time that happens.
It's amazing. There was actually a study, you mentioned the teeth as well. There's a study that came out this week on orthodontics and the actual movement speed of teeth with and without laser therapy, and it's 33% faster. The impact on cartilage and bone is just so massive that you can actually get through an orthodontic procedure of moving and replacing those teeth 33% faster because of the impact on the cartilage. So there's just every week, and we'll start doing more kind of science videos about this as we go. But every week there's new studies regarding different treatment modalities for both neuromuscular pain and inflammation, but also things like teeth, gut health, transcranial treatment as well for brain impacts that are just amazing. And I think we're still at kind of the tip of the spear of what we're going to see from a treatment modality, from an optimization of these treatments and being able to connect the physiology. Our goal as a company is to be able to connect the physiology and the medical side back in with the product side, where what we've seen from the market, what's been released to date, either it's a clinical level product that's $15,000 to $20,000, and they've made that connection between the medical side and the clinical trials and the product design, or it's a commercial level product and it hasn't been made. And so you see these things like panels out there, which are just, it's unfortunate because it's a really non-optimized way of treating a number of different things that you can treat with laser therapy. Dumping a bunch of LEDs on a board and then just having somebody stand in front of it is essentially like having someone, like a doctor, saying, hey, here's a bottle of pills, hold it 2 feet from your face and shake it a little bit and see what falls in, and hopefully that'll help you. It's just a really irresponsible and incorrect way of dosing. And we'd advise that anybody who can kind of move away from that and into a more clinical level device, do it. There's one of the things that we went through a little bit earlier was how to treat chronic and acute pain and inflammation. But we're also experimenting with things where the impact that you have, one of the big underlying mechanisms for photobiomodulation on physiology is hemoglobin carries oxygen through the body. Hemoglobin is a kind of a carrier molecule. It also carries nitric oxide through the body. And one of the things that you'll see with treating heavier tissue areas like your quads or your hips and things like this is that there's enough blood going through there that you can see a measurable increase in the blood levels of nitric oxide and things like endothelial nitric oxide synthase, or eNOS. And these are molecules that can help your entire cardiovascular system be healthier. So if you're treating even, and I'm doing this now and they also cross the blood-brain barrier and are great for your brain. Being able to generate these and increase your serum level of these molecules is something that we're going to be experimenting with longer, again, based on our focus of connecting the medical back in with the product design. But there's things that you can do with this from a protocol standpoint to help yourself, your endothelial tissue health. And one of the things that's come up over the past few years is endothelial health is essentially, and preventing endothelial stiffening is a major factor in in cardiovascular disease. So while we're not there yet, we do have steps in from a testing standpoint on kind of systemic or general treatment for your body from a cardiovascular health standpoint. And we're going to see a number of these different things that we now have a platform. We've now got a device that we can get in people's hands in home use, so that you don't have to go to a clinic and you don't have to pay tens of thousands of dollars for it, that we can actually start introducing additional treatment modalities that are going to impact people's lives. And so, you guys will see it over the next year or so that we're, this is our first step from, building a platform and providing treatment and results for neuromuscular pain and inflammation. But there's a number of other things that we'll be doing with this with our medical and product design team. So, stay tuned. But there's some really amazing stuff happening in this space, and we'll start getting more videos and kind of going more into those over the coming months, now that we've been able to kind of get out of the tunnel and ship the product.
So, another one in from Gustavo Marin. He's got the tracking number. Camino de Santiago, here I come. So well done, Gustavo. We're delighted to have it. Again, send us your picture if you're holding it. Thumbs up. All our community want to see it. And also it gives a load of positive spirits to all our team around the world. I think we've got time for maybe one or two more questions for us. So next one is Sharon from Sharon Day. Oh, this is a good question. I'm going to look forward to the answer on this one, Forrest. We might want to record this one on tour as well and use this for later. So will this help a knee that is bone on bone?
So yes and no. There's kind of two answers to this, and we'll go with the yes side first. Bone on bone, you're going to have a lot of that generates a lot of inflammation in your joint capsule there. So we're going to be able to reduce that inflammation and reduce the pain. One of the things that we didn't touch on earlier as part of the protocol, but is worth touching on with this, is when you're treating pain, and we found this from particularly from smaller joints like wrists and elbows that take longer because there's less tissue around it. They take longer to show the improvements that you see with knees or shoulders or back, hips, this type of deal where you've got a larger tissue mass that's being treated. There are multiple kind of underlying mechanisms that the light triggers in the body. One of them is neurological, and it essentially, it's a lot to go in. We'll have to do a video on this one as well. I think we're just going to have a list of science ones to go into, but essentially starts blocking pain signals coming through your nerves. And so it helps with pain, aside from being able to treat the inflammation that may or may not be kind of causing that pain. So if you're just going to treat the pain, and the bone on bone is going to be very, because cartilage grows so slowly, it's going to be very difficult to regrow that cartilage in a meaningful way in a short period of time. Keep treating over time and you will see regrowth, but there are some changes in that when you've gotten down to a bone on bone kind of status. So long story short, treat that, treat the need directly, reduce the pain directly from that. Also, if you're going to be treating the pain out of this, and it'll reduce inflammation as well and help with the regrowth, but also start treating upstream in nerve clusters. And we're going to kind of put out some videos and images around this, where you can treat where essentially where your legs connect back to your spine, upstream in your hips. These are key areas where you have nerve clusters that by treating these, you can actually block pain signals coming back from this. So by doing that and treating the damaged tissue directly, the pathological tissue directly, it's going to help, but it's not going to solve the problem in a very short time. But again, what you can do from a protocol standpoint to expand out the pain relief that you'll find from this is treat nerve clusters upstream. And again, we'll kind of if we can get your contact details, we can get back with you offline and provide you a little bit more detail on where those nerve clusters are and what you should expect by treating those and how best to do it.
Great. Right, brilliant. Thank you. Thanks, Forrest. Great answer. And Sharon, hopefully that helps you, and look forward to hearing your news and how it goes with the treatments and things. So we've got one of our power users here, Tudor, one of a great community member, a very early backer. Really happy you're here. Already happy to have the Move Plus here and using it. Definitely worth the wait. We're so happy you've got it, Tudor. And we know that you've used light therapy before and you feel quite passionate about it. and competing at the level that you do all around the world, really, in triathlons and the cycling, the running, the swimming. We look forward to be able to travel with this and use it on the go, and hopefully getting some of your friends and partners to use it as well and sample it. So I think, have we got time for, let's do for a tour. Do we have one more question that we could just drop up there and see if, yes, we do. Here we go. How many 5-minute cycles do you get from a charge, and does the effectiveness decline as the battery power goes down? In other words, should I be recharging, say, after 10 times 5-minute sessions?
It's a great question. 5-minute cycles you should get, and I need to go back into our documentation for this, but I believe we're at around 12 cycles, something like this, 8 to 12, depending on how long you've had them, and because the battery life will go down over time, just like a phone or anything else. The effectiveness does not go down as the battery power goes down. We have a stabilization circuit in there, and it's very important for us to have a stable amount of. And I went on a bit of a tangent about the panels and why they're so bad as a treatment modality relative to something that you can get on your skin. Because when it's on your skin, we know it's actually being delivered from a photon level at these different levels of tissue. You don't know. You have no idea about this from from a panel standpoint, and it's incredibly important from a dosing standpoint to know what those are. The dosage equals the efficacy, and if you've got a good model built, which we do, and we're improving it and upgrading it all the time, from a light delivery standpoint, you know what those should be, and we've built our device to stay at that level. No matter how low the batteries are, once it goes off, obviously you won't have the same results. But I think that's kind of people understand that. But yeah, it's incredibly important for us. It's one of the reasons why we made the commitment. It would have been much easier for us, as it is much easier for all panel or LED only product makers to get our product out there faster with just LEDs. The circuit sophistication and design around lasers and the regulatory around lasers was much more difficult. But we made the decision to go through this because being able to deliver the light that we need to, the photons that we need to, at the depth we need to, and treat internal tissue was core to being able to promise, to be able to actually promise honestly the results that we can promise. So if you compare these with LED-based devices, it's the emission patterns are built less effectively in those, and they're less sophisticated circuits and provide less results based on our modeling. And again, that's why we've gone through this big hassle of going through FDA, making sure that we have the laser design correct, and making sure that it's stable at all times so we can provide the correct dosage to you for that internal problematic and pathologic tissue.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Forrest, on the maths, I think the batteries will last around 3 to 4 hours, which, if my maths is correct, is maybe even as much as 30 or 40
Yes.
5-minute cycles on it. So you're really getting a substantial charge. Like, for example, if you fully charged it, went on holiday for 7 days, used it for, say, 10 minutes a day, you'd have 7 days full charge, well, full working strength, without a need to charge it very easily. So, and the great thing is, it's a simple USB-C input. So if you're ever anyway, you just need to give it a boost, you just do it that way. We're going to have to call it a day quite soon. I think that's been a great call. There's one final question in from Brenda about, are the batteries replaceable? Brenda Fraser.
The batteries are not replaceable, but they are rechargeable. And so again, to Tom's point, I think my memory was incorrect because I was thinking about the minimums that we were doing, and we actually overshot those by quite a bit. These batteries are overspec. I think is a reasonably conservative way to say that relative to the product and the usage cycles. So you shouldn't need to replace these batteries. They're all rechargeable, and you should be fine for the near future. even if it goes down to 50%, you're still going to have over an hour of treatment time, which again, that's that's multiple times above what you need from a daily standpoint.
Yeah, and we're talking about years of that
Yes, that's right.
degradation.
That's right.
So it's really not an issue whatsoever. Okay, so guys, I think that's a great call. Hopefully, everybody on here has enjoyed it. Again, welcome to all of you, whoever's watching, either on the replay, on this live. Just to recap, we've rebranded. We're called Kineon, Kineon.io. Please go to our YouTube channel. Again, Tor's going to share the YouTube channel in these comments. So please go to there, like it, subscribe it, give us some love over there. We really do appreciate it. Send us the photos of your devices when they arrive. That's going to be great, just like that. We'd love to hear from where you are in the world, all the activities you like doing, if you like sailing or in the skiing in the snow or mountains or anywhere you are, share it with us. And hopefully that's been really useful for some body part locations, specifically on the knee today. But we'd like to share a little bit more later on the shoulder, the elbow, and other areas as well. And I think we can do some individual videos for that and share them through. Is there anything you'd like to finally wrap it up with, Forrest?
No, just really, guys, thank you so much. We're so happy to have these products landing in people's hands. What's really sustained us as a team from a morale standpoint through all of this process is knowing that we have a clear core mission and values, and being able to deliver that and see the changes this is making in people's lives is just amazing. We're super happy to be at this point. If there's anything that can, and I know we've mentioned a few things in our talk today about videos that would provide a little bit more insight on the protocols, on the medical side, on the science behind all of this. Let us know if any of those are those. It's quite interesting to me. I love it. I spend a lot of time in the medical literature. If those are of interest to you, please also reach out and let us know which pieces of it are going to be most interesting, so we can prioritize the videos that we provide for you on how it's working, the cartilage regrowth, how cartilage works, different things about endothelial health and cardiovascular health. And we'll also try to, in the near future, start getting you guys some additional videos on some of the science that's coming out. Again, just this week on orthodontics. Every week we're seeing new science advancing the kind of moving the bar up from what's able to be done with lasers and with light therapy. And we'd love to kind of keep you guys in the know if that's of interest to you. So whatever's of interest to you from the science or medical piece, please let us know, and we're happy to start kind of feeding in more content on that as well.
That's awesome. And Forrest, I shared the question into one of our group chats, and Joseph has replied about the effectiveness of the battery, about the effectiveness not going down as the battery runs lower. So yeah, you passed the test, Forrest. Well done. Our electronic engineer rubber stamped that response. Well done.
All right, excellent.
So listen, guys, thank you so much to the community. We really appreciate it. Forrest, if you want to just stay on this StreamYard at the end, Tor's going to hang up and then we can move on to that. But for all the community, thank you, YouTube and rewatchers on the non-live. Thank you all very much. Thanks for your patience and your support. And we look forward to more photos and videos and positive feedback from you from wherever you are around the world. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.